think that's going to be a bit more leisurely than what we've got in store today. Okay, so we're at the famous park steps. I'm going to do about 11 or 12 sets. They're not going to be quick today particularly. The minimum criteria is you've got to go 2 at a time. I'll do a commentary over it. I'm going to stick my headphones on and yeah, you can enjoy watching me go through a bit of pain. Okay. Bonjour. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of commentary and a bit of insight and a bit of background to the park steps as I trundle off up them there. Basically the layout of the steps, I'll just fast forward it a little bit here as we go up, but there's what I call the approach. So these are the approach steps, which the spacing changes actually. You sort of have to run up them 1 step, 2 steps, 1 step, 2 steps. They're just that little bit too far, and then the spacing around here just changes, and you can go 2 steps at a time. So you've got to generate a bit of power, a bit of a that dynamic movement to get up them if you're going 2 steps at a time. And then there's the 4 main blocks. So those 4 main blocks, again, I set myself that minimum criteria to go up them 2 at a time, and I think that it definitely does generate more power in your movement. You have to generate power. You can go up them 1 at a time. I know I've done sessions with people where they will do 2 at a time for so long, and then they will start to fatigue and they can't do any more 2 at a time, but they can do 1 at a time. And of course, going down the steps as well, you have to maintain, there's an effort going down the steps because you have to maintain quality, going down them as well. It usually takes about 30 seconds to get to the top, from the very bottom to the top. Years ago, I'm sure I would have done them a bit quicker than that, but if you're getting up in about 30 seconds, you're doing pretty well. And actually on this session, just filmed the L-sit pull-ups, and it was quite surprising how I filmed that, probably had about 5 minutes rest. I'd done about a total of 30, and came onto the steps, and after about set 3 I thought, where are my legs? That they really are, the L-sit pull-ups do take away from your quads, and it's those muscles that provide the driving force when you're trying to drive up the steps. So I was quite surprised that I thought my legs didn't feel that powerful, even in that you expect a certain degree of fatigue, but it was pretty soon on. You felt like you were just running through treacle. The benefits of the steps, though, or step running in general, or stair climbing, if you want to call it, are just massive. The benefits are, you are first of all working against gravity, which is the huge thing. You've got to do that driving force against gravity, and you are actually using muscles in a stabilization form as well, because you've got to balance yourself, especially if you're going 2 at a time. If you go 1 at a time, it's a little easier. 2 at a time, you'd be surprised how you have to balance yourself on that. And quick fact for you: apparently you burn twice the calories in half the time going upstairs. So it's a great activity if you want to lose weight, or you've got a limited time, and you can always just go up and down your the stairs in your home. I often, when we go on holiday, where we go, there's some the apartments have it's a huge building. I think there's about 23 floors, and I have a session there where I go up and down, and it takes about this obviously takes 30 seconds, whereas running up the top of this building takes about 3 minutes. And if I do that 3 times, up and down 3 times, that's my session done. And yeah, the burning on your quads is intense right from an early stage, especially if you try and keep 2 steps at a time. The calorie burn will be less if you go 1 step at a time compared to 2 steps at a time. But so it's quite a good one when you're on holiday. Just to let you know, it might be of interest. The most I have done of these, it was probably about, I think it was more than 25 years ago. My goodness, showing my age there. But I built up to a session. It was going to be a peak session for summer's training, and I'd set myself to do 53 sets, all of which would have been faster than what I'm doing here. But I'd set myself that session, and actually on the day I didn't feel that good. It was I got to 12. I think I may have been a little bit dehydrated, but I got to 12 and just thought, this is not a good day at all, and just kept going one at a time, and not 1 step at a time, 1 set at a time, and didn't particularly feel much worse at around 20 sets. Kept it going, and once I got to 30 sets, I realised, okay, I'm going to do it, because it was one of those sessions where I'd actually set that I'm going to do 53 sets. That was a specific number that I said I was going to do. Don't ask me why, but 53 was the number that I was going to do, and I did it. So I felt pretty bad. It took about an hour and a half, I think, and for some reason I thought, should I have done 60? Or it's amazing, you just start playing numbers games in your head, and when you're doing sets of different things, you can go a bit OCD about it all. But so I got to that number, and I thought, I'm going to do some more. I did that session about lunchtime, and I thought, I'm going to do some more in the evening. So I did some early evening, and I did another 23. And again, that was a number that I'd set myself to do. I was going to do 23. And I got to the 22nd. So in other words, that was a total of 75. So I would have done 76 for the day. And I got to the 75th one. And as I ran up, I got to the top. I was on these 4 main blocks on the 75th set of the day. I felt this just weird, one of the weirdest pains in my femur, my left femur, as if the bone was going to snap. That's the best way to describe it. It felt as if it was just going to snap. And so I was at the top at this point, and I thought, right, well, am I going to do this next one? I only had 1 more to do. So I sort of tentatively came down and got to the bottom, didn't get that feeling again, and thought, right, okay, I'm going to go for it. It's just the last one. Went for it again, had to maintain 2 at a time. On the top 4 blocks, got the same feeling again, but got to the top, and that was it. So I'd done it. Got back, jogged back to the changing rooms, and I was stiff for about 4 days. The shin muscles were probably the worst hit. The tibialis anterior, and they were super stiff. So obviously, you're raising your foot a lot and using that muscle quite a lot, as well as the quads and hamstrings, of course. But yeah, I particularly remember the shins being very stiff. Actually, another little story for step climbing as well. In my early days of training, just getting into it, I went to a gym, and I'd seen the first It was the first machine I'd seen where it was a step machine, one of those revolving, there were sort of 2 or 3 steps to it and you could just keep going up. And I'd been playing a squash match and the opponent didn't turn up, so I was due to do a good session. So I went on this machine and I just hammered this machine, and just this step machine, not having used one before. And after a while, I mean, I'd been on it quite a while and going for it, and I could feel the cramp building up. And I thought, right, and I pushed on, and eventually I thought, okay, I'm going to have to come off here. So I came off the machine and could feel the cramp building up, and looked at my thighs, looked at my quads, and my left quad, it was the teardrop muscle, the vastus medialis, the left on my left leg, the teardrop muscle contorted, twisted up off my leg, up to more than 45 degrees off my leg, just like the scene out of Alien. I thought something was going to pop out of my quad, and then slapped back down onto my quad. So it literally moved up, looked at me, and then slapped back down onto the quad. It was, I think that has to go down as the weirdest thing that I'd seen in a training experience. And yeah, it was that was freaky. I was sort of walking around the gym trying to keep cool, and eventually just walked it off and it was fine. But that was as a result. That just shows the intensity of stair climbing and going up steps. But the benefits, of course, are massive. You know, you get huge power in your legs. It without a doubt gives you speed benefits if that's of interest for your sport. So the intensity, the extra intensity that there is in proportion to the benefits you get, obviously, you know. But anyway, I'm going to leave you to this a little bit and see if I can accomplish the end of my session. Okay.
Piece of cake.
Is he like that? Why does he breathe like that? Finished?
Yeah.
That wasn't recording, I don't think. Oh, it is. It is.
Hope you enjoyed the video. There should be links here and here for more nuggets of gold and motivational tips. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a video, and we will soon get well on the way to achieving those goals.